Hey, what's up, everybody, and Merry Christmas. This is NorbCam coming at you for those of you who celebrate Christmas, and happy holidays to everybody else as well. Welcome to another special Christmas edition, a Christmas... Oops, I got my own volume going on here. A Christmas Coach's Corner today. This was, I apologize for those of you who are waiting for a long time. We were supposed to start this an hour ago, but, hey, I think the Grinch stole the live stream is my excuse here. We had a few technical issues, but the good news is we got it worked out, and we are here ready to bring Coach Marsh on to talk about this upcoming divisional crown matchup between the Seahawks and the Rams. We're going to try to find out exactly what the Seahawks need to do, what the Rams have been doing, and what it's going to take for the Seahawks to beat the Rams and get the NFC West on Sunday. All right, so before I bring my guest, Coach Marsh, on, I just want to remind everybody, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell. I'd greatly appreciate it. So here we go. Without further ado, there he is, Coach Marsh in the flesh. Welcome.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Coach Marsh. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. We got the full-on setup going on behind me here, and the kids have had their present opening and grandkids and everything else. So it's just a ton of fun around here. But excited to be talking Seahawks football because what a great present, right? We're talking a big game, chance to win the division, and move our seed up with regards to the playoffs. So lots of good stuff. Excellent.
And you got I like you got the leg lamp over there. You got the wreath, the Seahawks emblem back there with the glow and the ball. But that sweater is something. What do you got on that sweater, man? You got lights going on.
This is kind of a dedication to you, right? You got the ugly awesome Christmas sweater vest. So this is the may the force be with us today. We're struggling to have the force there early on, but
Darth Vader was trying to steal the rebel plans from us and destroy the fourth moon of Yavin, but we fought back and we got this thing rolling. So all right,
Rams win, not they will.
All right, so let's get right into it. I know people are anxious and I'm waiting to hear what you got as far as how we're going to break down our opponent, the Rams, who beat us the first time. But I think this is going to be a very different game, but I'm going to leave that to you to tell us all about it. So, Coach Marsh, the floor is yours.
Awesome. So, what we're going to do is we'll take we're going to run a few plays here, and then we will, take a little break between plays. We'll come back to it. And a reminder that as we go through this, I'll run a couple of plays. Part of it is educational, but part of it is breaking down, what it is we need to do to take care of these guys. So, when you only have a handful of plays, Norb, as it's hard to pick, which ones are going to be the best ones, to figure out what exactly they do. And I think one thing that we're learning throughout the course of the season with the Rams is that they like to do a lot of short, quick passing game. They're really built similar to us in a lot of ways from a standpoint of win with their defense, how their offensive running game take place, run some bootlegs off of that, and make Goff a manager. Now, I would say the same thing about us. The only difference is most people wouldn't consider Russ to be a manager because he's also a playmaker on top of that. But his numbers are shown as such. So first play here is a bootleg, and I'm going to let it run. I like to let it run the first time so people can see it on through. I always like to see what people see just on that first action. So basically what we have, there's a quick hitting play right off the bat. But what I want you to notice is, from a standpoint of, we have multiple things that are taking place, but really it's what the aiming point is, it's a one receiver route. And so what they're doing a lot, and I've seen a lot lately, is they're trying to get these guys to do just one receiver stuff where they get everybody moving in one direction and then try to get everybody flowing here. So we got these guys are all moving here, which is going to make our linebackers start to flow a little bit. They have to respect it. We got bootleg, and Goff does a pretty nice job of putting the ball out there. Some quarterbacks are not very good at clearing out all the different things with regards to the play action. So as we let it run here, sorry about that. We'll see as the play action comes, and you can see they get that counter look, which is a look that we've been doing quite a bit lately, where we have our guy that will go back and go across. I apologize, it's a little glitchy this morning. A little bit too much eggnog last night, I think, for the old computer. But they run this behind the line of scrimmage, so you can see how much our linebackers flow. And what they're trying to do with Goff to make things very, very simple for him is create just very, very simple passing lanes, right? So that he can just look it off and look for a passing lane that comes right in through this spot. Not sure why this is on here. So he's trying to get right through these passing lanes right here, which is exactly what you're going to get. So as he goes to make this pass, you can see that there's a great passing lane for him that's coming right in through this nice little triangle, which creates a big, huge square area right here for him to reach the ball. But notice how many receivers are in the route, Norb.
That's just the one.
Just the one. And so oftentimes we don't see that. Yeah, at the NFL level, you would think that, teams can go and they can do things that, be 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers. Well, when you get a situation where the Seahawks were, even though we were in a little bit of a slump, we were starting to play a little bit more aggressive, as you'll see a little bit later. So they're running plays where they want to make things simple, and it's a tight ball game. They don't want Goff to make mistakes. So they're putting him in a position where he's not going to. So to go to the end zone view of this, again, what we see here is the play action, but you'll really see the linebackers as they start to flow. Watch the linebackers at first start to head this direction because it's a counter bootleg. So it starts this direction, and then it's going to head back the other direction. So all 3 linebackers, if we keep an eye on the linebackers, now they go back the other way because this guy's going behind. He's faking it here, and we got a nice play fake from Goff. But look at the window that we get sitting right here. Okay, I mean, it's just fantastic. You can't miss it. I mean, that's a wide open lane that he's got going there. So the fact that he's able to make that happen is all due to the 2 things: the play fake, as well as simply being able to run the football. I mean, continues to have a wide open lane. Most guys can make this pass. And Goff completed much deeper routes in the game against us. And I know you brought this up last week, Norb. He completed deeper passes because they were protecting this way much more. They go into the open sets, not so much deep. When they needed big plays, they were coming back to this one. So again, pretty easy to see that when you have one guy in the route and you're max protecting back here, with basically 9 guys, 3, 6, 7, 8, and this running back play fake becomes 9. Yeah, that's hard to beat. So that's something, Norb, that I think we're going to see, quite a bit of as they head into the game is, especially because of our defense, the way we've been playing and as aggressive as we've been. The first few games of the season, we were kind of the traditional defense that we played over the years where we'd sit back, get in the zone. Our personality is not that type anymore. And I think Coach Norton was allowing that to happen because he had to form fit to what Coach Carroll wanted. Now all of a sudden we find that our personality is more get after it, blitz, loop, sack, all those things like we saw last week at the end of the game. I think we're going to come with that more, which is why I think they're going to do the similar thing here.
Okay, so the question, and I want to recognize quick Alina Dahl in the super chat, one of our awesome moderators. She says, "Awesome sweater, Coach. My brother gave me the best gifts ever: Chinese food and huge case of TP. May the force be with the Hawks. Go Hawks!" Yeah, you can never underestimate that toilet paper.
No, you can't.
Especially right now. So I guess, I don't know if you're going to answer this question.
It starts speaking to your age, doesn't it, Norb? Like, early on you want toys, and then you want toys that have batteries in them, and then you want electronics, and then you want clothes, and then it starts dipping into, hey, I hope I get toilet paper, underwear, and socks. You start kind of making this evolution in life to your presents.
Yeah, it's sad that that's what it comes down to, things like that. But, that is how life is. It is. So I wanted to ask you, you might answer this question later on, but so in a play like that where clearly there's only one receiver, he's got only one option. So what is the counter to that? What should in that formation you just showed there? How does Seattle, if that same exact play happens again with the same personnel, how do they stop it?
Well, so one of the things that I would look for is it's tendencies, right? So you'll hear all the time that coaches talk about that there's tendencies that teams have, and what have they done? And every team looks at every game all the way back to the beginning of the season, and every single thing is broken down. 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, 1st and 2nd and 9, 3rd and 9, 4th and 9, left hash, middle, right hash. So all that stuff is broken down into the analytics, and then they start breaking it over the last few games to see which are the strongest plays. So remember, this is a week 10 game, so this is roughly 5-6 weeks ago, where they're heavy in the run. They're running this, and earlier in the game, they do what we do. It seems to be kind of a common play around the NFL, where this play where guys are running behind the line of scrimmage. Again, it's my favorite play that we run when we run lock it behind that we've talked about the last few weeks. Well, when teams are doing this and they do it with success, it's hard to counter against because at the very beginning, you have a back could come out of the backfield as a receiver. You have a receiver here, so that's 2. Here's a third receiver. Here's a fourth receiver. And because he's off the line, that makes this tight end eligible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pre-snap wide receivers in terms of could catch the ball. So you can't commit too much to, well, if they're this jumbo package, power package, hey, look, we have to just go after it, and play well. The key to me is making sure that, again, when we go into our matchup, that we put ourselves in a situation where whoever's got this guy has to play him well one-on-one, right? We just have to trust that we can play him well one-on-one. And the other component to it is, notice on this play when we watch it from the end zone view, that let's get to here. When we get it to here, again, watching our linebackers, tell me how aggressive they're not. Think about what we just watched the other day with the Washington game, right? The end of the game, the couple of sacks, watching Jamal do his stuff. Again, 5 weeks ago, we're in that mini slump. Don't have our identity on defense. Tell me if this looks like the same aggressive defense. See our linebackers.
The linebackers are chasing everything.
They literally do a triangle move or the U-step, 2-step, where it's kind of a boom, 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 a little cha-cha-cha. I mean, watch, they're synchronized, Norbert. I know you love this. I know you love things that are synchronized, but watch them go. All 3 go to their left, then they bounce to their right, then they all bounce back and around, checking for that throw. Here it is. Ready? And bounce to the left, bounce to the right, turn around and go backwards. Right? So when you're in that position, that is at advantage offense. Now all of a sudden, we're playing aggressive. We're getting after it. So I like to believe that, a good bootleg takes roughly 2 to 3 seconds, right? So if we played this live time from the snap, as the snap comes, 1001, 1002, 1000. So somewhere in that 2 to 3 second time frame. Well, how quickly were our guys getting to Haskins last week, right? Same thing on the snap. Imagine the snap, but now we're blitzing a guy and looping and bull rushing and doing those other things. I got to think that we're going to get into his face. And that's what I was saying. Let's make him beat us with his passing. I think we'll handle their run. Defense is playing better, but he's not a very good manager, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. I'll be coming back to that.
All right.
Later in the portion of it.
Okay. All right. So we'll reset the next play. And, I guess as you're doing that, the thing that concerns me always when just watching that play, I feel like we see that, wash, rinse, repeat. We see that over and over of players basically going down and in, and they catch the ball for 7 or 8 yards and run for like another 5 or 6, and it's another first down. That's the concern I have when I think about the Rams, because that's what I feel like we see so many times over and over again. And it seems like, how can they stop these guys? I found the same thing playing Madden. So I'm excited to see how you plan to address that or what else you bring into the next play.
Yeah. And by the way, congratulations on making it to the Pro Bowl in Madden. I think I saw that your name was listed or listed finalist for Madden Pro Bowl.
I think there was a write-in. I got myself in there by myself.
Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, just a reminder to everybody, we are taking calls midway through the program and at the end for Coach Marsh. So if you get on the Discord, you will be able to jump on the line live and ask him a question. So just remember, you got to do that. Join the Discord link and join the live stream voice chat. All right, Coach Marsh, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, here we go. So again, we're going to show a defensive play here and showing just a little bit of what we did, again, 5 weeks ago. And then I'm going to show some plays that the Rams did last week against the Jets, so we can kind of see, maybe some decisions they're making or what have you. We know who their stud is on defense. We know that Goff is the manager on offense. But here, again, Adams was just starting to kind of come into his flow, but they were still trying to figure out his identity, right? So Adams is up here at the top, right here at the top of the screen. And I mean, what I love about him, when we talk about football, is all about 1 and 1B. 1 being angles, right? Football is 100% about angles. And you can say that about most sports, but in no other sport are angles so vital to how you play the game, how you tackle, how you block, how you catch, how you're everything. Second thing is heart, right? Well, this guy right here, he understands angles and he gets how to play with heart. He likes to bring both to the party, as we like to say. So on this play, I'm just gonna let it run so we can see it. Now I pointed Adams out, but things happen that are great here on multiple levels. So first off, we see that Adams is coming up from the top. But what you can see is oftentimes when a defensive player is going to blitz from one side or the other, you're going to see the front slant. So the front is going to slant all to their left. So they're slanting this way because what they want to do is try to create a tighter angle for Adams to be able to come right here and then be able to come down this way. But the left tackle ends up pushing him out. So as the play continues to develop, you can see that this the tight end, he's going to push him out here, which creates a pretty decent pocket. But we're getting good rush up on the outside, and we're getting a good stuff up inside here. But what I like is the fact that we're keeping a safety high over the top. And you've heard me say it many, many times, Norb. Best thing for a free safety or a safety at any level is by the time a quarterback gets back to his fifth step in his drop, or fifth or seventh step, or at the end of a bootleg, those DBs should be back at 25 yards. If they're back at 25 yards, they're in great position. Well, as Goff goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, he's there. He's got 10, 20, 25 yards depth from the quarterback. Here's the quarterback, there's 25 yards depth. That puts him in a position where a quarterback's always going to try to find where the safety is. So if the safety's over the top, he can't make this throw down the sideline to this guy right here, right? It's not going to happen. So this guy looks open, perhaps, but we've got this guy sitting back here. The other guy he could potentially be looking at is sitting, obviously right here, but we've got a good over and under taking place with all of our players, which is what I like. The triangle that we have here covering him, we have him bracketed. So we're really, really good shape from that standpoint. Because of that, it doesn't allow Goff to be able to make the pass that he wants to make. And then you get just one heck of a play by a great defensive player. And this is the heart piece. So again, you watch him come in full speed, but then he turns, boom, bats at it. Similar to Haskins, we talked about how we wanted to make Haskins a deep drop back passer, right? And we did that. Throws 55 times, 38 completions, but it doesn't hurt us. Same thing with Goff. We want to make him that deep drop back passer. That's where he makes a mistake. Let's give him the underneath stuff, even though we might get frustrated that, he's completing passes and doing a lot of great things. In the game here, they completed 5 consecutive third down plays, all on the short stuff, and then they start going to long stuff later in the game. I'm okay with that. If they're going to stay with the short things, that's fine. We have to be able to score more than we did. So I want to be able to see it here again from the angle, because here we've got this double tight look, which I think we'll see quite a bit of. And every team's going to mix and match out of their formations, right? So not every team's going to get into these jumbo or double jumbo packages where you got the center, guard, tackle, tight end is really what you could consider it, even though it's a wide receiver that's come on down. But what they're really saying is, hey, we're going to protect, or we're just going to have 1 or 2 guys going into the route, and that's what you have, right? So they've set it up to make it look like, similar to before, play action. The guy's coming through. You have to respect the play action. So because of these linemen, they're not stepping backwards, and we know when their hats stand up, that means pass. So linebacker to that side has to respect it, which is great. He does, because there's no receiver threat here. But now as this receiver goes again, you can see what he's seeing. Under coverage here. We saw that there's a safety over the top, and he's going to run in the way of the second guy. So pretty dang good job there by our players. And the fact that there's nowhere for him to run, and he's just playing level. And I mentioned it last week, Norb, that usually when you're going to rush 4 guys, 3 of them are going after the quarterback, and 1 guy has to kind of level the line of scrimmage. And they figure out who that is in the play. So it's not before the play where they say, hey, this guy right here, you're going to level the line, or this guy, you're going to level the line. And by level, what I'm saying is once they all start going, he realizes that he's the last guy on the line of scrimmage. This hat right here for the Seahawks. Once he realizes that he's level, or he might think, oh, maybe I'm level, one of them has to now level the line of scrimmage, meaning you have to play level and not let the quarterback escape up front. So since he gets up and he realizes that he's centered to it, we now have this. Right? If Goff were to go either direction, we have someone leveling the line of scrimmage. He could run either way. He won't get himself trapped. Where teams get trapped is when they come too far up the field with all 4 players, and that opens up passing lane, and Russ is great at seeing those. Goff doesn't want to necessarily escape. And that's what allows Jamal to make the corner, get the hit, make nice plays. Right? And this was when he was just coming back. So, I like from the standpoint of, those are the things I see that we have to be able to do. to get ourselves back into the ball game and keep ourselves in the ball game. This is a much more aggressive style of defense than what we just saw before, right? Before we saw our, standard 4-3 and 3 guys just dropping, not doing anything. But we didn't know who we were. We were just kind of mixing and matching during this game.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's been very well documented that Jared Goff, if you get pressure on him, he starts to fall apart quickly in terms of his turnovers, interceptions, sacks, fumbles, all that stuff. So pressure, I think, is going to be very key in doing so. And I think what people forget to realize, I didn't even realize until I started looking at it, was that at the Rams game, even though we lost, that was sort of the start of when our defense started playing better in terms of keeping the scoring down, because we lost 23-16, I believe was the score of that game. But after that game, we had managed to keep our opponents to under 23 points from that point on, since that game. So things had really turned for the defense, even though it was an ugly loss. The trend started for the defense to turn the right direction, right, Bill?
Yeah, and you absolutely nailed it. I mean, from a standpoint of this was the turning point game where our games went from 33-31 and 37-32 and all those type of games to now lately we're back into the Seahawks scoring scheme, which is keeping the score low, again, playing solid defense, solid running game. We know who's returned for us with the running game. Kick our field goals. I don't get upset when we're kicking 3 and 4 field goals. I know everybody wants to score touchdowns. You have to take points how you can get them, just like you have to take wins how you can get them. They might be ugly. You want to get 7 instead of 3. Granted, if you lose 15-12 because everybody's kicking field goals, that I understand that. But you get those points and you're happy with it. You drive with the football to score points, 3 or 7, and keep yourselves in the ball game. And I think we've proven over the years that that's how Pete Carroll likes to operate, right? And I heard Squabble gave a great stat last week, and he did it again in his premiere show yesterday. Coach Carroll says all the time that if we complete enough passes and our rushing attempts together add up to 80 or add up to 50, we will win 80% of our games. I'll say it again. If our pass completions and our rushing attempts add up to 80, or add up to 50, we're going to win 80% of our game. Play solid defense, and then win in the special teams. We're seeing that the last few weeks.
Yeah, and that's where I think in a low-scoring game where the defense is now starting to keep the scoring under control, every point is crucial. In a 20-15 game, 2 field goals is a winning margin versus not getting any points at all. That's 6 points. If you don't kick the field goals, you lose those 6 points, and that could be the difference in the game. So, yeah, we got to take the points. We definitely got to take the points. All right, you ready for the next play?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the thing is, Norb, as you said, people fail to realize that things that happen early in the game, it's not that they fail to realize. Like, I don't want to put anybody from that standpoint, but so many things happen early on in the game that when the game ends, we forget how impactful they were when they happened, right? So whether it's points, not points, what have you, it's easy at that point to realize, gosh, we should have or we shouldn't have or what have you. And then you let the game play out and you realize, okay, I didn't spend all week 12 hours a day studying game film, come up with a game plan, have a 4-quarter plan, those type of things. As fans, we want touchdowns, right? We want 28-0 leads at the end of the first quarter. I used to do that as a coach. Like we play a team, and I'd be like, oh, we should have 4 drives, 4 touchdowns. I want to look at that scoreboard and be up 28-0 so I can relax. That happens like once every 5 years that you get receive the luxury of that. So. Just doesn't quite happen. You
got to have to be patient. Hey, real quick, before you diagnose the next play, Dukes of Hazzard in the Super Chat says, Merry Christmas, Norb and Bill, and all NORBFAM. So thank you, Dukes of Hazzard. Always such a big supporter. Appreciate it very much. All right, Coach.
All right, let's get after it. So, again, and I'm looking at plays here, with Seattle. This is where Russ, again, he was also in his slump. He was having some difficulties. And so what I wanted to do is get us in a position where, we could see maybe what Russ was seeing. What were the Rams doing that flustered us? And are we or are we not going to make this type of mistake? And we've made this type of mistake, not every time Russ, but one of these plays that's like, man, talk about where I wish we could add a field goal instead of an interception when we're at the 22-yard line, right? So you'll remember this play, and this was one of those times where. Yeah,
I remember this play.
And this is where oftentimes, as a coach, I will come to the defense of coordinators, position coaches, quicker than a lot of people will when they're wanting to fire people. This isn't on a coordinator, right? Offensive coordinator calls a play. We know Russ can scramble. Russ has yardage that he can make, but he wants to try to make something special happen because he's Russell Wilson. So he forces the play. We get an interception. That's not so much on the coordinator, and it's not the coordinator's fault that we don't get the 3, we don't get the 7. At the same time, there's communication there, and there's coaching that has to take place. Like Russ, we're in the 25-yard line. Like, what did you see? Communicate it. Go get on the iPad. Let's look at the pictures and see what we have happening. So here's the play here where, again, it as it took place, take it back to the beginning here. We have 4 people that are in the route plus a swing receiver. Russ is on the run. And as he's going,
you might want to take your image off just because I know that play takes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Corner, and it ends in that corner. We can't really see it.
Yeah, you betcha. Let's see if we get this off there.
There you go.
All right. So what we end up having here, I'll play it again. You're going to see that 4 wide receivers are going around, and I like the play scheme. I like the play scheme from a standpoint that we're sending basically 3 verticals up the field. And here's a coaching point I haven't said before since the get-go, and I think this is a great way to see it. I'll leave it right at about this spot, right about there. This is we go to wide. Okay, and I meant to talk about this earlier. When you're teaching quarterbacks to play the game at all levels, you could teach it from a tic-tac-toe pattern. Okay, so we got here. Remember, the ball is at roughly the 22-yard line because you can see the official is back here. Okay, again, if we do the checkerboard or if we do the tic-tac-toe, now going from the quarterback's eyes forward, okay, so if the quarterback is looking this direction, short is 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you can see my cursor again. So short from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the tic-tac-toe board of a defense, meaning how many of these zones can we press and attack? So defense has their zones like hook, curl, and all those others. Well, we have these passing zones. And I used to love teaching this to quarterbacks because once they understood it, they understood why we were trying to get people into certain spots. So I'm going to leave this tic-tac-toe board up here for a second because what you're going to see is, let me go back one here. So I get so excited to show these plays. So as we go back, and granted, the tic-tac-toe board is going to, it's staying in its spot.
Shift a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but what's happening is if this tic-tac-toe board was to stay kind of with our center as he's dropping back, we would have a guy who's gone and he's attacked quadrant number 3, and this is our receiver here. He'd be in 3, he'd be in 5, and he'd be coming over here to 4. And then we have receivers who have attacked from 1 to 4 to 7, and a receiver over here who started 3 to 6 to 9. And we have a swing receiver coming over here who's going to attack into 1. So at the point that he's about to make the pass, so kind of keep this in your mind's eye for a little bit here. Okay, as he's going to make the pass, we can see how there's different things you can see. Again, here's the tic-tac-toe board crossing the lanes. So we have a nice set of hitting at least 4 of the lanes. He's entering quadrant 9. He's going to stay over here in quadrant 6. He's over here in quadrant 4. He's right here in quadrant either 2 or 5, depending on where you're going to place him. And a guy entering quadrant 1 if Russ didn't escape. I love this type of a deep passing scheme because if you can get people into 4 spots, you open up exactly what I thought Russ was going to do, which is run the football. Because look at the defense spread out. Yeah, there's a guy here, but here's the first down marker. It's literally 3rd and 5, right?
He's got the first down right there.
Yeah. And you always teach, again, throw the football as if you're going to be the lead blocker for whoever you're throwing it to. And actually, I'll move to the end zone view. So as Russ is going, again, he's running to his right. Now, guys he's made some of these plays, but this is just, again, not the perfect spot to be throwing it when your body's going to his right and you're throwing back to your left. I mean, you hear that in the basics of football 101, right? Never throw against your body, never throw against your body, especially a ball that's being thrown that far in the air. It's just too long, too far. You just don't have the right accuracy. And Russ should be smart enough to know that this guy is sitting back here. Now, granted, he was wide open for a little bit, but man, oh man, if he just keeps the ball.
Yeah, the window closed too quickly. Yes. Or he waited too long to throw it. If he was going to throw it, he needed to throw it earlier.
Yes. And what we have to do, when we have to see it, and this is where how were we playing back then? This is what we were doing. We're trying to force feed deep balls. Russ is in a funk. Squabble thinks he's depressed. Look at the Rams defense. And this is what we're going to get, right? The Rams aren't coming at you with a bunch of guys. Here they are. They got their 4 guys coming. I think our O-line has improved tremendously over the last few weeks. So I think we're getting better, but we also figured out ways if we have to add a guy to block a Donald or what have you, as we talked about in the last coach's corner, we can move a tight end. We can motion, shift, get ourselves into position to block an extra guy if somebody's beating us. But because they drop guys so deep, this is what I want to see. I mean, I want to see these things all game long, this type of stuff. Throw it 5 yards, let your receiver run the other 94 yards, or throw it 8 yards, let him run 20 yards, or whatever you want to do. That's what I want to be able to see out of Russ when we're doing this. So that means high percentage plays, quick slants, or if you're going to run them deep, come on, Russ, just know the down and distance, because now he slides the 15 and it's 1st and 10, right? We always say 1st and 10 at the 15 is better than 1st and 10 on defense.
Right.
That's how we look at things. So
and he was one-on-one. It's possible he makes a little juke move. that defender maybe slips in there and he gets by him. It's a lot happens when he's in the open field like that.
And that's definitely the Russ of old. I mean, when I was watching him, I watched him. Well, there's one play in this game, but I was watching a game film from a couple years ago where in the game itself he had 5 different runs. They were doing some read option and they had a little bootleg keeper. On 3 of the 5 runs, he dove forward to make plays. He dove forward to get the first downs. Now, people get into he's don't hurt our quarterback. But look, the guy's chiseled. The guy, spends $1 million on getting his body right, his mind right. He knows the hits he can take. It's no different than games where he has, he's pressured and he gets sacked 4 times and he's taking those hits. A quarterback is a football player too. Yes, he's a luxury. But at the same time, there's certain points of the game, not early on, and this isn't so much early. This is early on the game. But we get in the 4th quarter, and we got to have that play. I want to see Russ make the play. Go ahead and dip the shoulder and make things happen, just like he does when he goes around the sideline, he puts the football out. Play like this. Make the juke and do something instead of sliding, because he still has it in him, and he's shown that he has it in him. Because he did it in this game right here.
Or against Washington on that big long run he had. He did one of those pump fakes. And it's funny because the pump fake, he might make the pump fake 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, but the defender still does that he wants to go after the ball. And sometimes little thing just makes him lose a step and he gets the edge. Or just one little pump fake and juke right, and all of a sudden he's on skates. So
no doubt about it.
He's still got that. He definitely has that maneuverability. So hopefully he'll make those decisions and take what the defense gives him instead of forcing the ball when it's not there.
And that's the key. Take what the defense gives him. And we've had people on the call like, let's get the ball to DK. Hey, I agree. As much as I get on him for his blocking, the guy can catch, when he circles up and does some of those other things, but the guy's a freak. Let's get him the ball, lock it, get him the ball. But let's keep it high percentage. If he catches 12, if he has 12 catches, great. If it's 12 catches for just 119 yards, great. It means we're moving the chains. It means we're on offense. We're keeping the ball.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go one more play, and then we can go calls if you want.
All right. Let's do one more.
All right. Let me get it ready to go here. So now this is from last week. And again, people might want to see more of their defense. What I'm looking at this week is a little bit more kind of psychological, what I think they're coming with, how they've been playing, and how it's going to impact what they do. So this was the punt return. So let me set things up for you a little bit here. End of the game, they need to score. They're getting the ball back with just over 5 minutes to play. So now, even though they've played a poor football game, similar to one like we played a few weeks back, they're going to be in a position to win the game. And they're going to be in a position on this punt return. But I'm going to show you what happens to teams when things don't work out the way you want them to necessarily work out. So punt return, and this is one of those where I've said before, sometimes guys get in a game film session and people will joke about a play, and then they get in a game film session, same type of play, and it's not so funny. And on the game, and I caught the tail end of this game, what happened was, as he's returning the punt, he gets tackled, and the guy who's doing the play-by-play, actually the play-by-play wasn't even the color guy, literally says, "Oh man, he got tackled by the punter." Well, here's how big that becomes in this game. And a lot of it was because of lack of effort by guys last week. And 2 weeks ago when we were watching Washington, and we were talking about Chase Young has become the leader of that defense, and guys respect him. And he gets the ball on a scoop and score, and everybody's hustling hard to try to block him. Well, in this game, they've got into a funk, and I'm not going to break down this special teams play so much because, again, it's more the psychology of what we're going to see the next couple plays. what happens is all of a sudden now a guy who should be able to make decent play. I mean, it is just him and the punter, and he's got two guys in front of him, and neither guy touches the punter. So what you start to get is you get frustration, you get discord, not the Discord channel, but you get the discord of frustration that takes place with guys that, how can we miss him? How do you get that? And you see, they showed him when he went to the sideline. He was not a happy dude because he knew he could have won the game for them, right? But instead, these guys are just in no position to make a play. This guy here can see punters coming, but the effort's not there. And I look at these things, and this goes to coaching, right? If I'm a coach, I'm going to look at this and go, how is it possible that we're in a game of this magnitude that we might lose to a team that hasn't won yet, and you are not hustling as hard as you can to get in front of their punter? Like every play, you assume that our punt returner is going to score a touchdown. Instead, they end up getting just let it play. This was the last time I let it play through. You can just see kind of the lackadaisical effort by two guys. Now he's got to try to beat him. He trusts those guys are going to get the block. He doesn't get it. He's not happy at all. He's not going to his teammates, right? He's kind of done with it. So that leads right into actually, let's go ahead and take calls because that's just a little snippet to lead into the last set of plays here.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. So we'll go to the Discord. We got a couple people standing by. So let's start with Seahawks for Life on the line. Hopefully this will work here. Come on, technology. Seahawks for Life. Are you there?
Seahawks for Life. Are you there?
Can you mute your YouTube playback and just talk to us directly? We're getting a nasty echo over there.
Just talk to us directly. We're getting a nasty echo over there. Just talk to us directly. We're getting a
All right. We're going to try to, hopefully he can get his mic fixed and we can get this worked out. Let's go to BJ, though. Let's see if we have less echo in BJ's place. BJ, you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, BJ. Merry Christmas to you.
BJ, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Awesome.
We're doing great.
How's Christmas going for you?
Awesome.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. What's the question?
First of all, I wanted to say to you and Norb, that the fact that you guys are doing this on Christmas Day and not spending it with your family is just awesome and really cool of you guys.
Well, you guys are like our family. That's why I call it the NORBFAM, because we have our real family, and then I think of you guys as like our little YouTube family. So we're still spending it with family in a certain way. But yeah, thank you.
I agree with you. I have to agree with you because Norb reached out and asked, hey, would you be willing to do a Christmas special, so to speak? I didn't even give it a second thought. To me, it was like, hey, if we have a chance to bring joy to people, or that, after you open your presents, like, what am I going to do the rest of my day? To me, it was a no-brainer to do it with Norb and to do it for all of you out there. So absolutely fun, but appreciate you recognizing that we did that. But I'll get to see all my family the rest of the day as well. And they support me doing it. And I know Norb's family supports him. So
absolutely.
Fun. So what's your question, buddy?
Yeah. So I have a question. Like, if we do win the division, we do obviously have one home game at least. And how big do you think that is? Like, if, we host the Saints and, they're an indoor stadium team and we're an outdoor stadium team, how big can that be a difference in the game? And, like, could it be the difference maker for us or the other team in the playoffs?
Good question.
Hey, I love that you use the phrase difference maker. I actually have that under my signature on emails. It'd be a difference maker. So good stuff there. It was BJ, right?
Oh,
is that his name, Norb?
Yes, that was BJ. Sorry, I muted him.
Yeah. So BJ, here's what I like about your question, man. I love the fact that you talked about indoor stadium versus outdoor stadium, because obviously we're in a year where, home field advantage doesn't quite mean the same as it used to. At the same time, I mentioned a while back that I do think players like to say we have home field. Like a Jamal Adams, the excitement he has to be in the playoffs. The Christmas present of him, receiving a playoff berth. He was so excited. A guy like that, I think, does want to be able to say, hey, we're the number one seed. And he's talking about that all week. Like, hey, if we get the number one seed and we play home games, that's a big deal to him, because he wants to be able to add that to his, his resume of his career to say, he had that. But I do think the biggest difference you just said there, BJ, is if we face a team at home that is a dome team. because people used to say all the time with us when we played in the Kingdom years ago in prehistoric times, as Steezy and Squabble like to say on a round table, that we couldn't go play outdoors. We could at times, but we definitely would struggle. Well, now you flip that, right? Look, a team like with Drew Brees that wants to pass it, yeah, I would like to face them outdoors up here in the pouring down rain, in the snow. Yes, both teams have to play in it. I know people say that, but I got to bring up my guy Aaron Rodgers because I say it in every show. That guy loves minus 10-degree weather. Like his mentality is bring on the cold weather. Well, I think that's our mentality up here, right? Like bring on the rain. So yeah, I think it'll be a big deal. If we're playing them and it's 45 degrees, not that big a deal. Kind of like when we won the Super Bowl, everybody thought it was going to be 10 degrees and freezing, and then kickoff time it was like 42 degrees and no big deal. So it didn't impact us as much as it may have. So great question. But yeah, I think it will definitely impact us if we face a dome team or if it's a cold weather. Tampa Bay's coming up here. Brady and Gronk don't get to sit in the hot tub on the decent weather.
Yeah. All right, BJ, thanks for the call. Let's see if we can get Seahawks for life. Hopefully got the echo issue resolved. We'll find out in a minute. Seahawks for life.
Resolved. We'll find out in a minute.
Sounds like we're still echoing over there. Seahawks for life? Hello? Hey. Oh, you got the sound resolved. All right, so remind me, what's your name and where are you from?
Nikki from Coeur d'Alene.
Oh, yes, Nikki from Coeur d'Alene, of course. All right, so what you got?
Merry Christmas there, Nikki.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
So I'm a coverage guy, and I love coverage. So do you think we'll run a lot of man or a lot of zone coverages in the game?
I think we're going to end up running much more man, and I think they're going to end up running much more man. I think you're going to see a lot of just that type of a matchup because there's going to be teams I think they're going to be coming after us and we're going to be going after them. So it's going to be, let me flip it on you. What would you like to see take place? More man or more zone based on how you've watched games and, your football IQ?
Well, I would run a lot of man because of tight coverage. You want the corners to contest the wide receivers and make them earn the yardage.
Yep, I absolutely agree. If you have the guys that can do that, right? And I think we're starting to get to the point where we can. The key piece is, do we have someone back behind there? Like that's when we used to play man when we had the Legion of Boom, which wasn't a lot. We would play a lot of zone and go back and do those things. But there were times where we could definitely do it because we had a guy like an Earl Thomas who could just range from sideline to sideline. So you knew you had that help back behind you. So when you have a great safety that can play back there, or a guy like an Adams who you can put into a robber coverage situation where guys have to play man to man, but you just tell them to spy receivers, rob the receivers, just kind of float around and make some plays, let those receivers know that there's a second guy out there somewhere. As someone who also played wide receiver, having played quarterback and wide receiver, I hated jam coverage because it throws off the timing of your routes. Hated if there's a safety playing over the top. But what I hated most was when there was that floating rover, middle of the field, that you didn't know where he was going because you can't look at him the whole time. You got to look at the quarterback for the snap and look at the ball for the snap, look at the DB, run the route. Where's that guy? So, yeah, man-to-man is definitely something, especially if it's bump coverage, tight coverage. I love jam coverage, especially against a guy like a Goff, who I don't think is the greatest downfield passer. And now he has to throw tight windows, and it usually means you're blitzing. So that's why I like man-to-man, because I like the blitzing component to it.
All right, great question. Let's get one more, and then we'll continue with the rest of the plays. So this is Dylan Tate 35. Hey, Dylan, Merry Christmas.
Can you hear me? Merry Christmas.
We got you.
All right. Do you think our defense can keep up this week?
Let's say that one more time. Do we think our defense can do what?
Keep up the same pace like we did last week against Washington?
Gotcha.
Keep up the same pace. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And again, I know I keep kind of saying it, but 2 words: Jamal Adams. And we got some other fire starters out there, right? I mean, we got some guys that can play and their energy's high. And we saw it in the last couple sacks, guys that have energy. But that guy, I think he has found a new level. And I think he's found a new passion that maybe he didn't know he had. I mean, I go back again to that press conference where at the end of the game, if you didn't see it, he gets to the press conference, they ask him about the game, And before he can even answer the question, he just kind of has to unload. Just, this is so exciting, and man, we're going to the playoffs, and I know you guys are used to it here in Seattle, but this, like, you don't realize how awesome this is for me. I think that is just going to carry into that defensive portion of the locker room, probably the whole team. But out in the huddles, the pre-stuff like Norb you talked about, he's starting to lead the pregame chants, and the team's allowing him to do that. So that's why I think we're going to keep that up, because you recognize that as a coach. Coaches make adjustments sometimes based on the personality of their team, not in terms of schemes, but in terms of, hey, you know what? Adams is so into the things right now. I'm going to ask him what he's seeing. I'm going to let him be a free spirit out there. I'm going to put him in position to float and blitz and make the right calls. Very few players have ever been given that type of responsibility, similar to a quarterback who's given the flexibility to check off plays. Not a lot of quarterbacks are given that freedom. A Goff doesn't really have that type of a freedom. He can check the basic stuff. Brady can check to everything. Russ has some of it, but we don't get the timing. So, yeah, I think we're going to definitely keep up that pace because we have found our identity. Rushing more than 4 or 3 guys, making Adams make plays, and our DBs are playing really well. I think we finally found a good set of DBs that are doing their thing. So, yeah, very excited.
Enter DJ Reed, who has been the savior to our secondary when you consider the fact that Quentin Dunbar never got going, and now he's out for the season. Trey Flowers has been kind of in and out as well. DJ Reed has been this blessing just from a Seahawks secondary standpoint. So thank goodness he's back there making plays. He has been a shining star on that defense. Can't say it enough.
And we're not the same team, right, Norman? We talk about that all the time. If you go back to the beginning of the season and people, say, well, if they were to do this, well, how do you think they'd be? Well, you can't really, predict, other than if you're watching a NorbCam, 2020 prediction special video. You try to predict how the season's going to go win-wise, but you don't know how the team's going to actually play. Like, how are you going to arrive at the record you're going to arrive at? Well, we are a different team than we were 5 weeks ago. I mean, it's obvious. I love, people don't think Russ is playing well. I think he's playing great. I love how he's playing the game right now because he's keeping it simple. Defense, personality, special teams, other than the fact that neither one of them went to the Pro Bowl, I think we have everything going on all cylinders, and the Rams are different. I wish they hadn't lost to the Jets, though. I know everybody was excited about that, but this week was still going to come down to everything. The fact they lost, they're going to have a hyper focus on this game this week, and they're going to come in really, really tough, without a doubt. And that's hard as a coach to tell your players, hey, it's the transitive property of equality that we talk about, right? Everybody's thinking, well, we beat the Jets by 30 plus points and the Rams lost to them. Therefore, we should be able to beat the Rams by 38 points. Man, if it worked like that, Norb, you and I would be in Vegas and we'd be winning a lot of money, my friend.
Yep. And there wouldn't be a thing called upsets if that was the case. So
no, and I'd have a much bigger leg lamp. It'd be the legitimate 4-foot one from a Christmas story.
For sure. All right, so let's keep things rolling. I know we've got an afternoon game coming up, so we want to try to get through these and still have time for that game coming up here. So let's do it, Bill. Let's get that next play going right now.
Yeah, so I got 2 plays, and then I got 2 Christmas specials for you.
All right, we like Christmas specials. All right, let's see it.
I think you'll like. All right, so here's what we have. And again, setting it up a little bit. So these are the last 2 plays of their game last week. So they just had that punt return. And again, 5 minutes to go. Now they're down to about 4 minutes to go. And you're thinking, okay, if we get the first, if we don't get it, we can give them the ball. Well, if they don't get it, they actually give them the ball, and then they end up not getting it back. So this is 3rd and 4. And what I'm talking about here is Goff, who had not played a very good game. I mean, he was throwing the ball all over the map, running sideways, throwing it, not throwing it very well. Play fakes weren't going very well. Again, guys have off games. But now he goes from being a manager to having to be a guy who wins the football game for us. He's not that guy. Proven in the Super Bowl a few years ago. He is not the guy you want trying to win the game for you. He's the guy you want keeping you in the game. So now it's 3rd and 4, and that is so important for everybody to understand because, everybody loves to be the play caller, right? We all dream of being a play caller. I was lucky to be one for a long time at the level I was at, but, I'd love to be an NFL play caller too. But if one thing is that drives me nuts more than anything else when it comes to play calling, it's either a player who doesn't understand the down and distance situation or a play caller who calls a play that makes no sense to the down and distance situation. So here it's 3rd and 4, and I have it at about 5 yards. Basically, you have to get 1 yard past it. That's where these guys need to go. In other words, Goff, get us 5 yards, get us the first down. So I'm gonna let the play go so you can see if you're an LA fan during this, what it had to be like these final two plays. We're like, okay, we're gonna pull this out because it's the Jets. We're gonna make it happen. Instead, here's your 3rd and 4 play. Okay, so he just threw the ball from back here, literally 25 to 30 yards down the field. Why is this important? Okay, for multiple reasons. First off, I just want us to watch Goff, and I'll come back to the end zone view of it real quick, but it's a psychological piece. The play itself is you have a wheel up top, meaning the first wide receiver who is here, he ends up going here, and he's the one who gets the ball thrown down the sideline. The outside receiver is kind of running a little bit of a pick right here, or he's trying to make the DB switch, and then he wants to come across open in the middle. That's what you're getting on the top side. Okay, so as we watch that develop, and what you have at the bottom is a great play, which I would have thought for sure is what he was going to throw, which is a reverse pivot, meaning go ahead, Norb, you can say something.
No, it looks like from here that could be a touchdown, the angle, that wide open middle that he's got going there.
Yeah, so you have the two players that happen. And the reason why it happens is because of this route right here at the bottom where the receiver's coming out here, he's coming out here, and then he does this little reverse pivot and sprints back to the middle. Very, very tough to defend. And when you have man-to-man coverage, which you can see all over the field, we have 5 receivers that are out there, or the star coverage as I refer to. 5 points of a star, 5 receivers are out there. Like you said, Norb, you got a receiver who's now running right down the pipe. And we call it the pipe, meaning the goalpost, middle of the goalpost, the pipe there. So, again, if you're watching it from the backside position here, just watch these 2 receivers on this spot. Okay, I mean, you should have guys that are getting open on here, and especially with this route, even though he didn't run down the pipe, he's running down the center, but he has a choice route because of the way he ran this. And you'll see, and I'm trying not to break down too many things. He comes out here, and this receiver, he could come based on the jam and break inside and then go out or go in. But this is the guy that I really thought he was going to throw to, this reverse pivot. Problem is, 3rd and 4 in shotgun, 90% of the time you take a 1 step and you throw it. That's all you need to do. Take a 1 step drop, boom, and throw it right now. But look at all their routes. All their routes are deep. They're not ready yet. Nobody will be ready. He hit him in the back. And then look at his throwing mechanics, which I'm going to get to right here. Okay, I mean, this is 3rd and 4, game on the line. This is your quarterback that's led you to the Super Bowl. And what you're getting is side step. Remember, we talk about the 90-degree foot, Norb, how right foot, back foot should be planted. Front foot should be pointed where you're throwing. So if this back foot is planted this direction and this foot is planted over here, you're not throwing with proper mechanics, right? We said all along, you want your back foot planting one way, front foot should be pointing the direction you're throwing. He doesn't get it, and therefore his body mechanics are off. Ball's just going to tail on him, and it's gone. Ugly, ugly, ugly. No chance at the football. So then now we come to 4th down. So now it's the same thing. It's 4th and 4. You got still a 5 receiver star formation. You know you're going to get man-to-man coverage. Now, contrary to a couple weeks ago, remember what the Jets did a couple weeks ago on a 4th down play and they brought the house? And this time they set a safety deep. They play their man, and they're just going to bring 5. They're not going to bring 8 guys and let guys stay open. But is it coaching? Is it coordinator play, or is it quarterback? This one, all 3, 4th and 4. Okay, your 4th and 4, they send 3 guys on a vertical route. 3 are on the vertical. I wouldn't throw that. You run an out route, which is just dangerous in this position because now you're asking the guy to throw it really far. So you really only have 1 guy, and I like these called bunch, like a trips bunch or trio bunch, 3 guys in a bunch, because you can do so many fun things here, and you're giving guys space. So if you look at the bottom down here, the route combination, guy goes out, guy's going deep, and now this guy does an inverted reverse pivot, or a regular, some people call it the regular pivot, and the other one the reverse pivot. But either way, he's running at one angle towards the inside, then boom, plants goes to the outside. This is the guy you're throwing to right here at the bottom of the screen. I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than that. Take your 1-step drop, and then right there, get your 1st down. Easy. But again, game on the line, situation takes place. What is Goff looking at? And this is the type of stuff that I'm wondering, where is he at this point in the season, this point in his career. Yeah, he beat us, but I think we beat ourselves the last time. And this is a nice pocket. He has plenty of time to throw it, but they've set him up poorly with what would be an equivalent 7-step drop. He's looking deep the whole time. Remember we talked about Haskins looking? He just looks straight down the field at safety. He's not even looking backside, and he doesn't even look to the wide open reverse curl. It's 4th and 4, and that's the play you call. Yeah, if he gets it, yeah, okay, kind of like the Hail Mary, but he doesn't get it, Norb. And so, when teams are doing that, I think they're putting themselves in a position where we don't trust our guys. We're not playing well. And I know what it's like as a coordinator when you get out of the zone. You don't expect it at the NFL level, but early in my career, I would look at my play sheet. I'd have plenty of plays, and I wasn't one of those guys that had 50,000 plays on my play sheet. I like to beat teams by formation, and we'd rep things pretty well. But early in my career, it'd be 3rd and 7, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 7, 4th and 7 in a crucial game, and I'm having the guy throw it deep, and run a 15-yard deep route. Even though everybody in my headset is yelling, "Run all hitches, run the slant hitch, run all these different things," and then I realize over time, I'm just trying to make a big play happen. I need to be smart instead of trying to get the home run touchdown right now. This is impatient football. Right? They're trying to not only get their first down, but Goff wants to win the game right now on this play when they still have 4 minutes to go in the ballgame. Instead, they give it to the Jets. Jets run out the clock, victory formation, game over. So
yeah. And I there's so many times when I see Seattle in that same situation. It's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. I say, it's 3rd and 4. Let's get 5 yards. 3rd and 5. Let's get 6 yards. And then they go deep. It's like, oh, why? You only need 5 yards. Let's just get those yardage and keep.
And
the
I think we're
sticks
doing
moving.
that more. So those are the things that, as I've been talking about some of these plays, that again, I'm sure people would like to see. Well, what are we going to do with Donald? I feel like I covered that last week with what we do, and this week I think we're going to cover their rush if we have to. If our 5 can't handle their 4, we're going to motion and shift tight ends, extra tight ends, and move them to different spots so that we can double team or chip or do what have you, and work our running game, work our bootlegs, and then when we need to have our 3, 4, 5 receiver hot routes, the quick hitting routes, and then pick and choose when we're going to go deep down the field, right? And I think people thought that DK was kind of handled that last game. I don't think so as much. Once I watched it again, really it was more a product of Russ not seeing the game very well, because there were times where he's definitely open. And this was in that series of games where all of a sudden DK starting to get frustrated. He didn't even have a pass thrown to him. And I'm talking the Seahawks last time we played the Rams. He didn't get a pass thrown to him until I think the second half. That's not going to happen, right? We know Russ knows personality. Like, hey, I got to get DK a touch early on. Lockett's just going to be there, tried and true. I know Hollister's going to make his blocks, whether he gets a catch or not. We've got our running backs, and we know how to protect now. And defensively, we're coming after it. So that's how I see us playing. And I think what the Rams are going to, again, I think the Rams are going to stay in that base because that's what they've been doing. They're a top tier defense. So it's not like they're going to change a whole lot. It's more a matter of what are we going to game plan to force them out of what they do. Yeah. And that's your ultimate goal. Force a team out of what they're comfortable doing. Just like we just saw here. They forced Goff into a position that he's not comfortable with. And what happens? He becomes the quarterback that he's not. He doesn't want to be in this position. He'd like to win the game, which is why he threw the deep ball.
Right. They almost got it.
Yeah.
Good play.
Almost got it. But almost got him to the sidelines on the next play.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So, so complete the high percentage play to make those things happen.
So quick acknowledgement in the super chat. King Mr. Epic says, I honestly think that the Rams are too overrated. And then Isaac Edits with the big super chat. Thank you so much for your guys' support. I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if you're going to address it. I know we have one more play and then a couple bonus plays.
Two more, but these are the Christmas specials.
We're on to the Christmas specials now. Okay. Yeah, so before since we're still on the Rams, I wanted to ask you about taking them out of their what they're comfortable with. Well, we know that Cam Akers, who has been running the ball really well for them, is out of this game. What's your thought with him out? How much does that change the dynamic of the Rams offense?
Again, if they were a potent offense in terms of high octane, moving the ball, with a Drew Brees or even with Murray and some of those others, I think that it impacts it a heck of a lot more. I think the fact that they want to win with defense. They are, to me, Amir. I know people think that they're more high percent because of how they played us that last game, but they're really not. You go back to the Super Bowl run and how they played in that Super Bowl. It's keep the score low, win with defense, have your special teams play strong, because they don't have the quarterback that can do, the things that other quarterbacks can do. So I really don't think that it's going to impact that much. And I always try to think of it, Norb, and you were with me many games during, all those years pregame stuff that we did together. I would always show up at a game not knowing, if the player had been hurt the day before, what have you, because you just don't get those scouting reports at the level we were coaching at or I was coaching at. So I'd see a player that was missing, and I would predicate it on, if it wasn't the quarterback, how much does that impact how the quarterback plays the game? If it's their all-state running back, but they throw the ball a lot, okay, yeah, it impacts it because he's an all-state quarterback, and that quarterback is a great thrower. If the quarterback's not a great thrower, and they're missing their all-state guy, okay, yeah, that significantly hurts them. But if the quarterback's a manager, then you know what, they're gonna make do and be fine, because they're gonna dink, they're gonna dime, they're gonna do this, do that. They'll find other ways to get the ball to other people. So I don't think because of their offense that it's going to impact them that significantly.
Darn. We'll see. But you're right. That is that quick passing game. That is always that thing that they get going. All right. So
it's like the reverse of what LA's looking at us like, oh, thank goodness they didn't get Josh Gordon. And you saw what my feelings were about us not playing Josh Gordon, right? Like, love the guy, want to have him here, want to have him healthy, want to have him back. I'm okay with this now. I actually think it works to our advantage to have the guys that we have out there and not try to force.
Yeah, not force the new toy to get a bunch of receptions.
Yeah, let's just keep the toy and wait to put those D-sized batteries in. Because Santa didn't put them in the stocking. Shoot, let's put them in a week or two or whenever they figure it out, or get them healthy and get them right for the next year. So that's what I'm saying. The reverse side is for us not as big a deal because of the offense we run. If we had no receivers that could play very well, and our running game wasn't that great, well, first off, we probably wouldn't be in the position we're in as a team. But I'd be like, hey, we only have Tyler Lockett and that DK guy who was a rookie, last year. We don't know yet, so we have to have Gordon, and that's why he came and really stood out. So kind of like Percy Harvin when he came in, but that was more for special teams. We didn't have that electrifying special teams player, even though he could do offensive stuff. He came in and boom, what a bolster it was on special teams. So
sure. All right. So as a reminder, we will take a couple of calls at the end after we get through these bonus Christmas plays. But, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas again, everybody. And so Coach Marsh is in the spirit of giving, has something special planned for us. I'm excited to see what this is. You ready for it?
Yeah. So here's the deal, Norb. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing I think the crowd will like it. And it came about from the other night's roundtable because you and I were referred to as prehistoric, and we have to get our AARP cards and some of those fun things. I thought it'd be fun to, end our shows with, some unique kind of special play of Seahawks lore. Doesn't always mean it'll be a great Seahawks play. It might be a great play that happened, the big Bo Jackson run, and, just famous things that took place. But
from the Jurassic Park days of the Seahawks, right?
Yeah. From back when the Seahawks had leather helmets and they just had a little strap that went along here, no pads, and they had this oblong football called the Duke. So I'm going to take us back to Monday Night Football, 1979. Two of my favorite all-time plays. This was my first ever game, first time ever watching a game in the NFL. I'd been to a game at the Kingdom because we were season ticket holders from day one. We were the nosebleed. We were the highest row in the Kingdom. There was nobody behind us. It was cement. So we had the top row in the Kingdom, but hey, we were in the building, right? But then on Sunday afternoon, I'm playing with my buddies, but also I'm hearing about this guy named Jim Zorn, and he's a player and he's left-handed, and I'm left-handed. So also I'm thinking, I like this thing, and I'm seeing him and this guy named Steve Largent on stuff. So Jim Zorn quickly became my favorite player. So here's Monday Night Football. I don't know that I doubt the sound will come up on this, but I'm just going to let it play. The grainy videos, because back in prehistoric times, a guy had to wind the film, I think, to get it going. So, but what you appreciate is, again, this is a 3rd and long. This is our first time on Monday Night Football. Nobody knows. Howard Cosell's going crazy. And I'm sorry, this was a 4th down play, because Howard Cosell had just said, I love these gritty Seahawks. I love that they're going for it. This is what Jack Patera football is all about. And do you remember what I said about Jack Patera? The Jack Patera era.
Yeah.
Greatest time football. So here we go.
A lot of fun.
Jimmy Zorn dropping back. Right away, he's scrambling. He's got the slender uniform, number 10. I wore number 10. There he is, all the way in for the touchdown.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I got to watch it again, right? I mean, famous guys. You got Sherman Smith up here, Steve Largent at the top, and just caught a play. I mean, look at that slender fella, man. He must have weighed about $110, but he was so incredibly fast, and people always talked about the fact that he was just elusive, and they didn't know how to get to him.
Yep.
So that leads me to my favorite all-time Seahawks play ever. Okay. Ever. And I know there's plays that you can look at and go, like the touchdown against Green Bay to get us to the Super Bowl, but I'm talking like this one put us on the map, and we were the only team that was doing this. So this is a guy by the name of Efren Herrera.
Same game.
Oh, heck yeah. No,
Okay.
I'll only bring one or two plays in, and it'll just be the same game, same moment, same electricity. Monday Night Football, battle of the Atlanta Falcons. And you'll see as Efren gets ready here, what I love about it is, just look, he's got a single face mask bar. It's hard to see, but he's just got a single bar here.
Yeah, they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, man. And Jimmy Zorn was the holder. Yeah, you just watch it. I hope you'll appreciate this. I mean, this is, as a kid watching this, so excited. Okay, they're going to kick a field goal. We didn't know. I hadn't seen anything like this before. And holy cow, who goes down the middle of the field? It's Efren Herrera, the kicker, catching the ball in the middle of the field. And man, oh man, I just remember people going nuts in my house. I'm like, this football thing's crazy. People get nuts. But this one, I do have to break down a little bit, because here's the beauty of it.
Here, and I want you to take your screen off, because right now you're covering Efren, so we want to make sure you don't miss every step he takes there, because that little guy from Guadalajara, Mexico, his little steps are tiny, teeny, tiny.
Yeah, and what this started for us, obviously, is we started running fakes, all the time. We just became known as the team that ran a bunch of fakes. But it's because we had Zorn here. We would oftentimes, there's times where Sherman Smith would be on the wing, so he would get them behind the ball, and I won't give too many away because I'll probably show them. But the key is to watch Efren and these linemen on either side of the ball. And I'm going to telestrate, because they didn't even have telestrators back in 1979. So this side of the ball right here and this side of the ball right here, they're all going to take off as if they're heading out to run passes out over this direction. So that clears out this defense, and there's no linebackers in the middle. Nobody's in the middle. So all these three guys have to do is take care of the one guy here, and what you're going to see is Efren just do his thing, which is run here, and then run here, and then like the great receiver is, he's going to get it. And Zorn's a lefty, and that's what people don't ever talk about when they show this play. As a right-footed kicker, your holder has to be on the right side. But the fact he's a lefty allows him to just stand up and let Efren get into his route. And I mean, I'm telling you, Norb, I've not watched a play more than I've watched this play over 30 years, and it's awesome. So here we go. Let's watch it again. You can see the guys as they break apart. See these guys spread out to the side, but here goes Efren. Efren goes right around into the hole there. Zorn lefty, right down the middle. That put our team on the map. And I mean, they kept showing Efren the rest of that game. It was fantastic. So Merry Christmas to everybody. Those will be something I'll plan on ending every coach's corner with, a little bonus from prehistoric past. So there could be an appreciation. I know there's people that watch also that may bring up childhood memories or, players. And I'll find some of those names, Dan Dornick and Jacob Green.
And Alina Dahl, who has is never short on words on her love for Steve Largent in the super chat, just said, "Sorry, coach, my favorite play is still Largent versus Harden. Best pre-Bam Bam Cam play ever." You're going to have to bring that one up at some point.
That one's number 2, and
legendary.
I actually had that queued up. I was going to show that one. I just felt like a lot of people have seen that and kind of know. So we will definitely have a special. That kind of falls in that pick 5 plays that are just another night where it's just a special coach's corner. To prehistoric past that we'll do. But yeah, that's definitely one phenomenal, because you have to kind of tell the whole story on that one.
Yeah.
But this is a great piece. Again, first time Monday Night Football in 1979. And here we are, 30 plus years later. Now we're able to stream this stuff and show people and have the young people realize that football was played before Russell Wilson and before the new uniforms and everything else.
Oh, that's awesome. I've seen that play many times, the fake field goal, but it's always the sideline view. I haven't actually really seen the end zone view, so it's kind of cool to see it, open up and how wide open that play was. So that's fantastic.
You can't define it on an NFL Game Pass. Let me tell you that. You have to go deep into the annals of Google to find the end zone. But I just thought it'd be fun, given that that's what we've done before. The sideline view is you can see it, but to actually see Efren loop through there, and like you said, he's maybe 5'6", 5'7". What a great dude too. Man.
Yeah.
Just fun guys, just fun to hang around. And the fact that so many of them still local, right? I mean, Zorn was local, Sherman, that's my former coach, he stayed local for a while. Large was here for a while before he went back there. So many guys have stuck around, and you see them at the golf tournaments and everything else. So it's neat that they stick around. It seems to be a part of Seattle.
Yeah, a lot of guys love it here and never leave. So yeah, I met Efren Herrera actually, I think 2 years ago. He was doing an autograph signing at the event center before the game at the Touchdown City. So got to see him and see the man in person. It was awesome. Yeah, some of the greats. I don't remember I don't know how many fakes they ran. I know that there was that one, and then there was the other one that they did against Oakland on, I think, also Monday Night Football. I got 4 of them for you. I've already got a whole slew of plays for 2021. I can't wait. That's awesome.
But I got to just show you. I mean, this is what I mean when I say, the psychology of a game, the psychology of a team. When you're seeing this type of thing, I mean, this is the tight end going to his kicker, and he's just so excited, just grab him by the shoulders, like, you did it. They probably ran this 10 times and dropped it 9 times, right? But, Tara's like, we're running it no matter what. Or most coaches, my old mentor used to say, put a lighter to it after the third play. If you burn it. If it didn't work in practice after a third play, you burn it. So instead you remember Coach Tarbox. So, the fact that he was able to do that and make it happen, just very, very cool. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, let's wrap the show up and get a couple more calls in before we sign off. So let's go to one of our moderators, Nick LeBeau. Nick, Merry Christmas to you, man.
Too. Thank you guys for doing this on Christmas Day. That's really cool of you guys.
Nick LeBeau, were you at that game in 1979?
Which one? No, I wasn't, sadly.
All right.
Sadly, I was not.
Yeah, I just know you know the history of this stuff. You probably know that play better than I do.
Oh, sorry, you guys cut out.
Go ahead. I was just saying you probably know that play better than I do because I know you're a great historian of Seahawks football.
Actually, I'll be honest. I've heard of Efren Herrera, but that's the first time I've ever seen the play. Whoa. So thank you for introducing it to me.
Glad I did it.
There's more to come.
All right, man. All right. What's your question, buddy?
So my question is, and I know you've kind of touched on it a bit, but what is it like game planning against a team that is really good? They have an awesome defense, an awesome wide receiver core, 2 pretty great tight ends, a awesome head coach that's just coming off a super embarrassing loss to one of the worst teams in the league. What's it like game planning against that team? And also it being the NFC West Championship game. What's it like just game planning? Because I have a feeling they're going to come in tough no matter what, but they're going to come in even tougher coming off that huge loss.
Yeah, so I'm going to break it up into 2 parts for you. The first part being how 90% of coaches would address this week, and that is hardcore football. Let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to the fundamentals. Let's get out there and practice. Let's watch a lot of game film and blah, blah, blah. And then there's coaches like Pete Carroll, myself, some others that I know who would kind of go the opposite and go the whole psychological route. Like, guys, we've been doing this since, springtime. Some of you guys have joined us later than that. We've been working hard. Let's look at what's taking place. A team's just coming off a very difficult loss, right? A loss that whether they overlooked them or what have you, they're going to be fine-tuning their game to get us. Okay. At the same time, they beat us last time, so they're probably not thinking that they have to make a lot of adjustments to where we are making adjustments based on how they beat us. So advantage us, right? And then this game is for the NFC West title. Pete Carroll is going to be amping that up big time. And he's going to have Jamal say something. He's going to have Russell say something. He's going to have Bobby say something. Anybody else want to raise their hand and say something? Say something. So now we're into that psychological piece, right? And I notice as I say these things, like the force seems to be working within me too, lighten up. So I think the point being, with a guy like Coach Carroll, he's going to spend more time this week on the psychological analysis of how we're going to approach this game. Doesn't mean he's going to have any less practice time. But even out there, the guy's running around, he's bouncing from drill to drill, getting things ready. And at this point of the season, you're doing a lot of team stuff because you want to just keep guys healthy. So teams aren't doing a lot of hyper focus, adding new plays, breaking things down into, skills and drills. It's here's the scheme we need to run. Here's how we need to focus. And then, do it. The analytics piece, they're letting the, assistant coaches or, guys that are out there, doing interns, letting those guys do the analytics. So that way, by the time they get to Wednesday, because typically Monday you come in and watch film, Tuesday, everybody in the NFL has the day off. So it's some kind of important for people to know. Sunday game day, Monday, come watch film, get your ice treatment, get healthy. Tuesday, off. But players are watching film at home, do whatever. And then Wednesday, Thursday are your really solid days. Friday, you're going to kind of lighten up a little bit. Saturday, you're doing some walkthrough stuff. Typically you'd be staying at a team hotel. I don't know if they're actually doing that this year. So that's kind of how your week progresses. And again, with Coach Carroll, he's going to spend more of his meeting times as a team, showing some random YouTube video that's funny. Or he always has a basketball hoop in the big team meeting room, and he loves basketball. So he's liable to, in the middle of a meeting, just stop and say, hey, hey, Hollister, if you can make 2 out of the next 3, we're not going to run after practice today. And now he gets everybody hooping and hollering because he wants everybody to relax. So that's how I see him approaching the week. He wants that relaxed team, loose, just doing their thing, not super tight. And that's how I tried to coach. And I think Norb could attest to that. I was joking before games, high-fiving the officials. I want my team to see as your leader, I'm relaxed, but because I'm confident and we are prepared. So I hope that answers your question, Nick.
Yeah. Great question, Nick. All right, let's go to, I think one more here, or maybe 2. Let's go to Hunter Patterson. Hunter, you're on with NorbCam and Coach Marsh.
Merry Christmas, Hunter.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. What's your question?
Can you see the Seahawks beating the Rams this week?
Yeah, is that the question? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this, man. I wouldn't be breaking this stuff down.
Can't really think of very much to say.
No, that's all right. Hey, that's okay. It's actually a decent question because sometimes I think we go through these things when deep down, we don't think we have a chance. I wouldn't be doing this with Norb if I didn't think the Seahawks had a chance every single week. I'm just I'm a lifelong Seahawks fan. I'm a believer in the Seahawks. So even when I take my coach's hat off and I just put my fan hat on, I'm a guy who thinks, we're going to win every single game. And I love the philosophy that Pete has in terms of just the next game is the game we focus on, and look at last week, right? The way the NFL works, it is the true, honest cliche of any team can beat any other team on any given Sunday, right? The Jets just proved it last week, beating a decent Rams team. So yeah, heck yeah, I think we have a really good chance because I think we're playing well. I think we've come into our own on, the personality wise. And so I think we're going to, I don't think it'll be easy, because that's not how we play our games. So you can just expect, and I'm talking to Norb specifically, you can expect that for the rest of the year, we're going to have low scoring, close ball games where you and your dad are going to be on the edge and he's going to be saying, run the football. And you're going to be just, screaming and yelling. And, but he'll have his little, his little cool Romo guy doing his thing there and off they go. So that's, but I love that, man. I love that we're coming off of Christmas. We get to keep the Christmas lights up, at least around here we are. Keep them up through the game on Sunday. Have our nachos, talk to our friends, watch the game, championship game, and that's how I'll watch it. That's how I'll approach it. Like, hey guys, you guys watching the championship game this week? Like, it's a championship game. Like, how could you not get up and get excited for that? To me, it's no different. If I wasn't going to the game, in a regular time, maybe I don't have my tickets or have the tickets that our family has. Shoot, I'd approach it the same way. It's a championship game. Norb, you watching the game? Yeah, I'm watching the game. So yeah, we got a shot. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I'd be playing with trains or something.
That's right. Yeah, they always do have a shot, and it's always exciting for sure. So, all right, let's go to one more question because I know we got a big Saints-Vikings game that does have NFC playoff implications that could affect the Seahawks as well. But let's get to one more question so we can move on.
And then I'm going to answer Brandon. Brandon has a question on the chat that I might get to, depending on this question how long ago. So.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Go ahead with the Discord.
Let's go to Arkan. Arkan, you're the last one up on the phone lines. What's your what you got? Merry Christmas to you. Arkan?
Merry Christmas. So.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
My question.
I'm sorry. What was your name, buddy?
My question is. My name is Archon.
Archon.
Okay.
Archon.
Love it.
So my question is about the playoffs. So you have two good running backs like Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson. Who would you rather have running the ball? And then also, so a bad thing is that the Jets beat the Rams because obviously now the Cardinals have a chance of getting second in the division. And if I think they're to get second in the division, they would be the 6th seed. meaning you guys would have a high chance of playing them. And like you mentioned last time, the team that you're afraid of the most is the Cardinals. So,
this guy pays attention.
Right now, are you hoping that the Rams beat the Cardinals, or what would you like to happen in that game?
Yeah, I tell you what, man, if I could give you some sort of a prize or send you something, I would, based on the fact that you called out a comment that I made previously in terms of the team that I least want to face in the playoffs in the Cardinals. It could be a quiz question we can do every week. But, I think the thing is when it comes to, the running backs and all those things, you brought up some, a lot of really good points. So I want to make sure I answer the specific one because you had really 3 questions in there. So can you give me the one thing that you really want me to answer? Is it the running back? How would I handle the 2 running backs? Because that was your first component.
So like in the playoff games, who would you rather have running a ball? Because obviously Chris Carson hasn't been doing too good.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that was the 3 things that were the primary one. So I refer to it as the hot back, who's the hot back at the time. And in years past, we had a guy like Marshawn Lynch, who no matter what, he's the guy, right? I mean, he's the guy that lifts the team, what have you. With Carson and Hyde, you have this kind of hot back syndrome where it depends on, even down to the play you're running, who's the better back in that play. And that's what they're looking at throughout the course of the week. And they've decided that over the last few weeks. They already know it. They don't need to go out there now and practice to decide who's better on the sweeps, who's better on short yardage, who's better out of the backfield, who's better when we're doing those things. I want the guy who's the hot back based on how they've seen them play and perform and prepare this week. And coaches get a sense of it. I knew going into a game when I had, one year I had 4 really, really good running backs. I mean, we're talking great running backs at the level I was coaching. And there were times where I knew that 2 of them were ready to go and 2 of them maybe not. And another week, another 2, or then 3, and then 1. You can just kind of feel it. So, Carlos is our, he's our guy. He's the guy that we have to go with. But, I like Hyde in there as a complimentary back that can come in and spell him and do those things. Here's the thing I'm most concerned about, because I've seen it happen multiple times each of the last few games. When we leave a running back out there on a crucial passing situation, and the 2 guys that we're trying to throw to in DK and Tyler on one side of the ball don't become open, and now Russ is scrambling to the other side, and we end up throwing to a running back on a 3rd down crucial situation. So it's a little bonus to your question there. I don't really care which running back's in there because I think they both are equally strong in certain components, but I like how I want us to keep playing how we're doing it right now. But I want them both off the field when we're going open receiver sets because they're not the guys we wanted from that standpoint. Norb, how about you? I know you're big into the running game and those things. How would you like to see the split up of those guys now?
Well, Chris Carson is always my guy. I mean, he brings the power, the Marshawn type running, hard hitting, setting the tone, just establishing the dominance at the line of scrimmage. But I just like the fact that they can mix it up with a Rashad Penny and a Chris Carson just to give him breaks for one. But also, I think it's a good changeup. Rashad Penny's got that pretty quick explosiveness, and Carlos Hyde has a little bit of that as well. So it's like the thunder and lightning. Remember Pete Carroll back at USC had the thunder and lightning combination, where the power back, who's the hard hitter, and then the lightning fast one. So it's kind of a little bit of a double lightning and thunder. So I love it all. I just think it's great. I just feel like he's got more options than he knows what to do with, really. But I always want to see Chris Carson getting the bulk of the carries and then mixing it with the other 2 guys.
Yeah, and I agree because Carson plays with a defensive mentality, and that's what you want in your running back, right? Marshawn did it. Carson does it. That guy who plays like a blitzing middle linebacker that's just coming, going through the hole as hard as he can, as if he's going after the quarterback. The only difference is, he's looking for contact because he wants to deliver the punishment and wear those guys out. And like I talked about before, time of possession does not wear a defense out. What wears a defense out is plays, and it's running plays. And nobody loves running plays more than the offensive lineman. You ask every offensive lineman, going back to prehistoric football times, and they will tell you they want to run the football because they're in a 3-point stance and they get to drive out and drive block their guys. They love that much more than stepping back or zone blocking to the side or what have you. They want to run the ball, just as much. And I do want to cover the piece on the Cardinals.
Yes, let's get on that one.
I fear them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do fear them. I think with the playoffs coming, just because I hate mobile quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that can move, they cause issues for us. And, that first game they beat us, and yeah, we can look and go, well, that we had a chance at the game. If it woulda, shoulda, couldas, never win football games, right? So we did things that did not allow us to win that game. Then we come back and, we're able to do some stuff. But they are a team that has a stud at wide receiver and another stud at wide receiver who's a Hall of Famer. And they got a quarterback that can run. They have an innovative, head coach who the players seem to really like it. And I got to be honest, I did not think he would be successul at this level. I thought he was just going to be another one or two and done guy. And instead he's come in, he's got that team buying into what they're doing. I think they pose, matchup problems. And the fact that we're not playing in front of the 12s, that's a major deal. But so when you face a quarterback that can run, he is like a 12th guy out there because he can do things. And I just don't want to see us in a position. I'd rather face teams that are just standard drop back, even a Brady, right? I'd rather see a Brady guy that just drops back. I don't want to see Rodgers either, but we're going to have to face him. Any of the other teams I'm fine with, but the Cardinals, just in my gut, I just don't want to face them again because they want the score to be really high, and I don't want us to get into a shootout. Give us Washington or the Giants, whoever comes out of that thing. Give us, the Saints. I think we can keep it low. Even with Rodgers, I think we'll keep it low there as well. Cardinals can get us into this up-tempo stuff too much, and then Russ tries to force feed it. So that's the only reason why I say the Cardinals there. But like we've said, the Jets aren't making it. Some of these other teams aren't making it. So we're going to face a couple of good teams. Hopefully not 3 teams. Hopefully it's just we're facing 2 teams to get to that big game. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm starting to hear the family murmuring around out there. I think we've got lunch about to happen here. So
I'll answer Brandon's question at the next one. He was asking, how do I watch football games? And it is definitely different than probably the average casual fan does. So I'll make a note of that, right. Brandon. If you watch the next Coach's Corner, I'll definitely make sure I answer.
All right. We'll definitely we'll answer that one. Sorry, we couldn't get to all the questions and calls, but we're a little bit out of time here, and we got a football game that's coming up here, and people I'm sure are going to be watching. So we're going to wrap up this edition, this Christmas Coach's Corner, looking at the Rams. And before we sign off,
don't forget my friend here.
The lamp, the Christmas sweater, all that.
Don't wait till next year, but it's all about the lamp. Bring us luck this
year. That's right. I get to wear this.
Keep it out through the Hawks game.
Get to wear this thing, this time of the year, but then it's going to be back to business after this. So, all right. So before we sign off, I always want to give this opportunity for Coach Marsh. Appreciate you being on here. It's always been a blast. I love what you bring to the show. So any last words you want to say to the 12s before we sign off on this episode?
Hey, it's just been a blast every single time. And, we apologize that we kind of come in late, but we're going to, continue to improve things. But I hope everybody's just having a great Christmas and, and taking care of each other. And I specifically just want to, say Merry Christmas to my family, and not to make this Academy Awards, but, McKenna, Kylie, Luke, Emily, Brianna, just the great kids you are, my granddaughter, Riley, another one on the way, and to my mom and dad for just, tremendous support this year on everything that you've done for me. So, and my brother and niece and nephew. So I love you guys. Thanks for everything. And Norb, just, man, love everything you've done for us. But to all you 12s out there, bring the spirit on Sunday, get excited. Let's make this thing happen, because it will be a fun week next week when we come out of that game with a win. So like I always say, live life one play at a time.
All right. I love it. Great stuff, Coach Marsh. All right, then that does it for us. I will be doing my best. I will be streaming the game. It'll just look a little different. I'll be a little more low tech, but either way, still responding and reacting to that game on Sunday when we battle against the Rams for the NFC West crown. It's going to be an amazing, awesome game. So I can't wait to watch with you guys. Coach Marsh, enjoy the rest of your Christmas day and the rest of
you and
your
your family.
Merry
Holidays.
Christmas,
all of you.
All right, and to all of you guys, enjoy the rest of your Christmas and happy holidays to all of you. Take care, you guys. See you next show. Go Hawks.